Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Bali Bungkus today. I'm so excited that finally she make an event here we've been talking about this for so long. But yeah, today we're gonna talk. Claudia gonna talk about how to make your brand goes viral. And before that, I just want to tell you about the events that we're going to have today. So we haven't announced it yet, but we are thinking to make an event here, a new event called mindfulness session. So basically, we just invite you guys for 30 minutes meditation. We're thinking to do it today, on today at 3 p.m. And it's only 30 minutes. I mean, it's meditation. It's good for you to refresh your mind. I mean, after the work that you've done today. So, I mean, it's nice to have a mindfulness session. So that's why we are thinking to start doing it by today and see how it works. If you guys love it, then we're gonna make it like usually every week. And also, we want to tell you that tomorrow we are going to have a Balinese 101. So for tomorrow's topic, we're going to talk about the death rites here in Bali, since there will be a big cremation ceremony on 2nd of March. So that's why, if you are interested and want to know more about the death rites here in Bali, so please come tomorrow. But I would love you guys to do the reservation first, since it's only for 50 people only. So please send your reservation to rsvp at hubud.org so I can put your name and put it on the list.
When is it? Sorry.
It's tomorrow at 11:30. But the big cremation, it will be on the 2nd of March. So basically tomorrow we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen on the 2nd of March, something like that. And the last one, I also want to tell you that I'm so excited that finally Fuck Up Night is back. So if you guys don't know, so Fuck Up Night is the event where we invite four speakers and they're gonna talk about their failure. And you heard it right, it's Fuck Up Night. So basically they're gonna talk about their failure and how they themselves. So it's not about like a sad night or anything like that, but it's just us like celebrating the fuck up itself. Like, of course, because before you get there, you of course there is some fuck up, right? So yeah, the ticket is still available right now, and it's still on early bird price, because if you buy it at the door, the price will be different. So I would suggest you to get the ticket right now. You can get it at the front desk for 60K only, and it's not happening here at Hubud. There, Fuck Up Night will be happening at Alaya Resort Jimbawan. So it's a really nice place. And it's a really nice event as well for you guys to meet people. So I would suggest you to go for that. Sorry?
Sorry for said that charge. When is it happening?
For the Fuck Up Night, it will be happening next week on the 1st of March. Yeah, at 7 p.m. So please, if you haven't got your ticket, you can get the ticket at the front desk. So for right now, I will present you Claudia.
Thank you, Kashfi. Hi, I'm Claudia. For who doesn't know me, I'm from Portugal. I have a branding and marketing agency and brands. We work just online. I work with people from several parts around the world because we are based in. But today I don't want to talk about fashion. I don't want to talk about sustainability. And I wanted to bring a more mainstream product that we all relate with. So I created Alfred. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But before, I'd like to see each one of you, because you are so many and so many faces. You can start.
Sure. My name is Danya, and I'm from New York.
What do you do?
I work in the space of communication.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Audie. I grew up here and live in Sydney and compete games. Yeah, I'm working on my charity project in education.
Hello everyone, my name is Kitty from China. I live in UK for 7 years. I'm currently running a startup in China, running portal in China to, with a personal development.
I'm Luke. I'm from Seattle. I own a restaurant with my dad, and I sell kitchen products online.
I'm Marie. I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm a transformational nutrition coach.
Hi, I'm Debbie from Brazil, and I'm currently making a startup with some friends related to crypto.
I'm Emmanuel, UX developer. Ian. So it's Portuguese and I'm an intern.
I'm Elena from Italy. I'm a web translator. I'm looking for a change of career.
I'm Bea, I'm from Germany. Basically the same, doing nothing at the moment but learning.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Hani. I'm from here, from Jakarta actually. I'm a communications consultant and a corporate trainer.
Alright, hey everyone, my name is Claudia as well. And I'm here working for Ubud as the partnership intern and also learning lots of stuff.
Everything
My
Bungkus?
name is Shmongi. I'm from Bali and I do
Nice.
Here in California, and I'm starting a nonprofit that does a lot of marketing for other nonprofits. So. Eric?
I'm a web developer, designer, and everything else that you do when you're a co-founder of a business. Product company that I run.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I work for US and UK.
Nice.
And we're a software company. Meet interesting people and learn about more interesting things.
Rebecca?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a vet as well, but yeah, out here helping freshman business.
I'm sorry,
the last 5 years as well.
I'm sorry, I'm
Management systems.
nice.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm from California, but I've been living in Ubud for the last 2 years. And I have a letter over to summer holidays, specifically to Mauritius and Australia.
Hi, my name is Camila from Poland and I'm a mindfulness coach.
Nice. Introduce you, Alfred. The goal it was to do something funny, mainstream that we can all, that it's related to everyone. This is marketing. It's all about creativity, so talk as much as you can and give your all and all your thoughts. So, what is it? Alfred is basically a series. It helps us to break ice. It is when we need to find a route for difficult situations. It makes you kinder, a more thoughtful person. Knows people likes for social media, so if you're talking with someone from the first time, guy that he just met, someone probably in a date, he's like, Alfred is going to help me. She has a cat called Ben. Ask her if she has pets. Don't mention your allergy. It has different voice and it's highly variable. You have here another example. Now, of course, would you like me to make a fake call? And then you have here some voice options. Maybe you want your Alfred to be more like tough like Liam Neeson. Maybe you want a godlike voice like Morgan Freeman. Or maybe you want a British accent. He's actually Irish like Thomas Shelby or Cillian Murphy. Anyone has any doubt about Alfred? No? No. We had some ethical issues, as you can imagine, because of the use of social media to get people's information, but it surpassed. And now we have our goals for 2018. We want Alfred to be the leading companion app in the UK. That's our main market. We want to establish a strong tone of voice, so we can imply from here that we need to be very human, very relatable. It has to have a clear social media strategy, of course. We want Alfred to be famous on social media. We want it to be the new innocent drinks in social media. We want to grow followers, likes, and reach by 500%. We want to deliver a significant ROI. In our case, our ROI is app downloads. We want to reach a younger generation audience. That was our goal because according to the data, they are terrible at relationships, but they are the best ones downloading apps. So it's the best target to start. We have a budget of 50K, which is an okay budget for a startup. Any doubts? No?
50K of Indonesian rupiah.
Let's say euros. Euros. Is that okay for you? Okay, so the first thing when we start a new project, when we start a brand, is to find our bigger purpose. We know that Alfred is going to help us to connect with each other, but we have to think in a macro level. Is Alfred actually good for the world? How can we improve the world with Alfred? What's our macro purpose? It's easier to understand this when we think about other brands like Lego. Lego is one of the biggest brands on social media, especially on YouTube. YouTube is the main social media channel for kids, and their main target is kids, so it's perfect. They are not about creating miniatures with blocks. They are about enhancing creativity with the main purpose to realize human possibility, create a more innovative future. I don't know if anyone knows about this campaign. This is from the George campaign. You should investigate Lego. Lego is amazing at social media and creating viral campaigns. They made this campaign George with $100, and it was all about people had George. It was like a small miniature, like with a person like this, and people were just incentivized to promote it and to show it around the world. It was amazing. They also had Crocky Wonky, where the kids will just, okay, what's a Croco Wonky for you? And the kid will just design something with a Lego, and they made it highly shareable. It was a very big success. And all the two campaigns, this was with $100. The other one, I think the initial investment was like $500. They are very, very good at viral marketing. Or axe or links in some markets. Everyone knows axe or links, yeah? Yeah? They are an amazing story. They used to have a terrible branding, and they were doing very, very bad like 3 years ago. Do you remember the old Axe ads where everything was about super sexist? Do you remember them? I have one to show you if you want. This is like the terriblest thing ever. This was Axe before. I don't know, I don't see it. Sorry. Yeah, that was their branding. Their bigger purpose was to enhance attractiveness in the world for guys. And they were doing very badly, like till 3 years ago. And then they tried to understand why they were doing so bad, and they did the collaboration with some data companies, and they found out that actually 31% of the guys are afraid of looking different, of being judged. That was a big deal for them because they weren't expecting it. And then they made this global survey with women, with men, and they asked, okay, so what do you think is most important for women when you're trying to find a guy? And all like 90% of the guys said cash, masculine attitude, and muscles, while the woman's answer was about humor, personality, and individuality. And it was like, this was like a shocking moment for them, and they completely changed their branding. Now they are all about empowering individuality. They have a campaign called Calm is campaign against living miserably. I don't know if anyone here heard about it. They collaborate with a lot of famous people like basketball players and social influencers. And they are doing very well now. I can show you their ads. This is then their new branding.
You got them.
Sorry.
Come on, a six-pack. Who needs a six-pack? When you got the nose. Or a nose when you got the suit. Now you don't need a suit when you got the moves. Or moves when you got the fire. Or fire when you rock those heels. And heels when you ride those wheels. Looks, man, who needs looks when you got the books? Or books when you got some balls. And who needs all that when you get the door? You got the dough, the brains, the touch, the that's right. You
that was it. That was a very big change. These two brands that are going very well on social media, and both of them have a very well-defined bigger purpose. So let's talk now about the bigger purpose. For you, what's the bigger purpose of Alfred? It has to be, we already know in the micro level that it's to connect. It's to connect me with other people, it's to connect you with other people. But what is it doing to the world? Well, we know it helps to connect people. So it brings the world together. We're living so many uncertainty nowadays with all this Trump conflict with North Korea, with the Brexit. So we need things that bring the world together, right? And then, actually, one of the biggest problems for the millennials is loneliness. According to the Mental Health Foundation in the UK, loneliness is a great problem with the millennials. They did an inquiry with people from 18 to 57 years old, and 42% of the respondents is ending up alone. People that are lonely are more likely to self-harm themselves. So we are actually making the difference with the world in our product. We are lowering loneliness rates. We are lowering self-harm. Happier people means more money, higher economic rates, and then happier, healthier adult population. Obviously, it also means happy, healthier children population. So everyone is happier with Alfred. And that's the main point when you start a product, is to find the macro level, the biggest purpose, so you're able to sell it and to have a strong story and a strong voice behind it. Any doubt? Does anyone wants to share any idea? Something? No? No? Everyone is happy with Alfred? Okay. So now, breaking down the strategy. We already talked about our goals, about our bigger purpose. We didn't talk about the audit. The audit is analyze our current situation, our budget, where can we spend our money. And it's also about understanding our consumer. When I say understanding our consumer, it's not just thinking about that in terms of quantitative data. That's very easy. Okay, we know where people from 18 to 20 to 30 people years old live, etc. It's thinking about people in terms of personality and in terms of the motivation. That's a very important part that people always forget. Just go outside and interview people, learn about their whys, about their motivations, how they spend their time, where they find their products. Ask the whys. There are three main motivations when people buy things: functionality, symbolic motivations, and hedonic motivations. Understand which one is more important for your audience. Sorry. Hedonic motivations. It's very important when you buy clothes. Symbolic motivations for the status, and functional motivations when you buy a washing machine, for example. Understand which ones are more important for your types of consumers, your types of target, and how can you relate with them in each one of them. Also, according to behavioral psychology, there are only 6 things that define our personality. This is the GO case: our general intelligence, how open-minded we are, how agreeable we are, how consciousness, our level of consciousness, and how stable we are, and our degree of extroversion. If you can analyze your consumer in terms of these 6 things, you can very well define who he is, which music does he listen, where he buys his products, all these things. GO case. Remember as GO case. G is from the G factor, which is general intelligence. O is from open-minded, how open-minded he is. The C is from consciousness. Consciousness. Yes. Thank you. The A is from agreeableness. The S is from stability, emotional stability, and the E is from being extroversion, if he's extrovert or not. Yeah. Welcome. Then we have to define our tone of voice, our overreaching points. Where should we connect with our consumer? Where is more important? Which moments are the most important for him? So we can connect Alfred. Where are we going to find the triggers that he's going to say, okay, I really need something like Alfred now? Think about Kit Kat and coffee. It was a really nice game played by Kit Kat, because Kit Kat in 2007, they were going very, very bad. And then they started associating. They wanted to be seen as a product that you consume during breaks. So all the Kit Kat ads started to have Kit Kat and coffee. And now they have all this trigger. And that's how they built their trigger. It's also very important when you're doing Facebook ads, because now you know exactly when the consumer is going to consume your product and when exactly you should be advertising it, what time and how and to whom. Influencers and culture is very important for brand equity. Should we use it or not? It's about building brand awareness. Which content we are going to have paid this page. This is very important. Actually, brands invest 80% of their content in paid content, and only 20% of their content is page content. But according to the data, only 50% of the consumers trust paid content like Facebook ads, and 92% trust page content like influencers, user-generated content, etc. Which platforms are better for our product? And then proof of concept. Is our product really working? We don't want it to be a fad. We don't want people to use Alfred just for like 3 months because it's really cool to use Alfred and it's funny. We want people to feel that it's actually functional and it actually brings value to my life. This is when we talk about viral marketing, as I'm talking here, we have to talk about the steps. Does anyone here knows about the steps? Joe and Berger? No? Contagious? It's a book? No? No one read that book? Joe and Berger is a professor in Stanford. He's specialized in virality, every kind of virality, product virality, marketing virality, we can apply virality in everything. And he found out after several studies that there are 6 things that promote virality. And if you want to have a viral product or a viral campaign, we have at least to have 4 of them. It's about social currency. People share what makes them feel cool. That's why we are able to pay $100 for a beef instead of $5 for a beef, because it's cool. It's about the status. The triggers are highly linked with the overarching ags and the Kit Kat situation that I was talking about. How can I connect the product if other triggers that are going to incentivize consumption? Emotion. People share emotions. People just share things that make them feel something. We share happiness. That's why we need humor. We share when we are shocked with something. There is just one emotion that we don't share. Do you know which one it is? Sadness. Sadness. Shame, I think, is highly related with, I mean, we're talking about content, so there's no content that is shameful for you because you're just a viewer. That brings, when something is shameful, it brings hunger to you, and hunger is actually highly shareable. Practical value, the functional value. What's the value that the product? Well, how helpful is the product? Public. Can the other people see that I'm using the product? For example, do you know about April? They are highly public, and they try that since the beginning. They not only have the sticker that it always comes when you buy a computer, but you see this logo here. When they started producing the Mac, the logo was on the other way around, so it would face the user, the owner, when the laptop was closed, but then it would be turned around to everyone that was watching the owner. So they turned it this way because it's more important that 2 people that are with me can see my logo Mac, that I can see it. It's about being public. And finally, and this is all the wrap, it's about the story. You have to tell a story with the triggers and a story with the emotions. People share stories. People don't. I'm not going to talk about with my friends about the specifications or the characteristics of the iPhone or about the computer. I don't care how many I don't know volts my washing machine has. I don't talk about that. I talk about the stories. Do you know that Blender YouTube videos where they crash everything? They crash iPhones. They crash. Yeah, does it blend? Exactly. That's a highly viral story because it's all about the story, and the most important part is that the Blender is there. The Blender is part of the story. If I tell a story that doesn't have anything to do with my product, it doesn't work. The Blender has to be there. We don't talk about how good the Blender is. We talk about, whoa, have you seen that Blender that is able to smash iPhones? And when we're talking about virality, linked with emotions. Overreaching points, it's highly linked with triggers, influences, and culture. It's all about brand equity, brand awareness. It's very linked with triggers too, and social currency, and also with emotion, if you use humor, for example. And then the proof of concept, it's all about being public and also social. So if other people that I want to associate with are doing it, I want to do it too, because I want to be part of the group, because that's cool. So after the first level of defining our strategy, after knowing our bigger purpose, it's who are we as a human? And this is very important, that you're able to see your brand as a human. This is very important to not only to define the tone of voice, but also how you interact with the culture. If your brand was a human, who would they watch? What movies would he watch? What music would he listen? What influencers would be their best friends? And if you have this perception of your brand, everything will be much more clear in all your branding strategy. How to choose your influencers, where to advertise, to whom I'm talking with, How can I communicate with culture? Is it important to talk about art in my blog? Is it important to talk about music? With what type of music? For example, for Alfred, are we more Mick Jagger? Are we more West? What do you think? No one knows? No? No? I think he's more West just because of his target, 18 to 30 years old. And you can even think about this not only with real people, but with TV shows that the brand might associate with. Is he more a Targaryen, more a Tyrell? I think he's more a Tyrell. He's funky, he's funnier, he's too serious to be, then he's too serious to be Alfred. So after being able to analyze our brand as a human, we have to decide its tone of voice. In our case, we want Alfred to be very relatable because it's an app and it's a robot, but we want people to see it as a friend because it's a Siri, it's someone that we talk with. And relatability brings a lot of engagement. That's a very good thing. We want to be fun. We want to use humor with it because it's a funny concept. And we also need to reach a lot of people, so humor brings a lot of reachability because it creates an emotion of joy, and it's very easy to tell stories through humor. And then, we don't want it to be a fad. We want it to be something that is going to stay in the market for a long time. So it needs to be helpful. And we also need to show that Alfred is helpful to get downloads, that it's our main goal. People share when they feel emotions. That's why we need to be reachable and use humor. Humor is also highly linked to social trends and interaction with culture. There are three kinds of humor that people use. You can use that great funny stuff on social media. Humor of observation, humor or real facts that are the majority of the memes, and then topicality. Topicality is the most important, to be there when something in the cultural world happens, like the engagement with Meghan and Harry. All these things, we have to be there. That's highly talkable for people. Relatability, we have to be human, be authentic, and admit our flaws. That's the tone of voice that you want. For example, we are all founders of Alfred, and for example, Camila and Emmanuel are having a dinner, and they are seen throwing objects to each other. And well, they appear on the newspaper because they are the founders of Alfred. How are we going to react to this situation? We admit the flaw. We are the founders, and yeah, it's against our values to be like that, but we are humans, and it happens. And that's how you are relatable. And this brings engagement because people like to feel the connection with brands. And then being helpful, show that how functional we are, that we really have a purpose. This will happen through smart targeting, reactive listening, having people talking about their experiences, and ads. Because downloads happen mainly on Facebook because Facebook is a highly transactional platform. It's all about sales and downloads, and it's the place where you really get the downloads. Then that's our hero platforms, the platforms that we have to use. Facebook to get the downloads. Through Facebook ads, there is no organic reach on Facebook, so there is no point in spending a lot of time in branding there. So we are going to do that on Instagram, and then Twitter for a little bit more of engagement. And our overarching points, our triggers. When do we need Alfred the most? We need to be highly skilled, because especially if you don't have a big budget, to know in which situations should we insert Alfred. When is he the most needed? When people are going to remember about him. And again, for Facebook ads too. For example, when we're going to the party, we need to be highly social, so we might need Alfred. After a breakup, we need to go out again. We're going to need Alfred. Also, people say that we lose two friends when you get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, so then we have to get two new friends again. When we are traveling the world and we need to meet new people, when you have a networking event, when you have a Tinder date. And after knowing our overarching points, we can start telling our story, and that's when the brainstorm happens. That's when we need again to talk with a lot of people to have all different ideas. How are we going to put all this together and take the story, knowing that Alfred has to be very human, very relatable, has to be super helpful, and has to have a sense of humor. For example, I have 3 ideas. Alfred could be like the guy from the 70s, 60s that is there with the sign saying applause, smile, laugh. Can be from John Hamm in that Black Mirror episode that he's with more guys giving instructions to the guy what to do. I don't know if everyone saw this episode, no? Yeah? Or it can be like a trusted friend, like someone nice, that it's always there for you. That, for example, this is Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is a more or less well-known figure in the UK. She writes about relationships. She has a podcast. She's highly relatable. So according to our tone of voice and our marketing, which one do you think it's better to go to create a story for Alfred? The middle one. Does anyone has another idea?
On the right. I came in halfway, so I'm not sure, but just my gut.
I would agree with you just because she's more relatable and we want him to be very relatable, and also in the end of this Black Mirror episode things go very bad. so we already know how it's going to end. So we already have our story. We already know how to humanize and how Alfred is going to be as a person and how we should communicate with people. We can start creating content. The first thing is the video. The video is the most important type of content nowadays, especially 6 seconds videos, as Instagram and Facebook gives a better rating to small videos like 6 second videos, and like campaigns and videos that are separated, like campaigns compilations, are highly viral. So what we should do is like to create 1 minute video and then cut it into small episodes, and then you have more content. It's going to be more viral. It's going to be more engaging, and it's also very good for Facebook ads. You don't need. Yes, tell me.
Does that change depending on the type of brand and company, or is that?
You always have to have videos.
No, I mean the length.
Of the video, no. 6 second videos.
All right.
6 second video is the ideal time for video on Instagram and Facebook.
Where can you add a little more color to like where you would put the video, or like just what were you gonna say in 6 seconds on a video?
Excuse me?
What do you say in 6 seconds on a video?
What do you mean?
You just said to break them into 6 seconds. Social media.
Yes, for social media. Of course, the video has to be different for Instagram or Facebook because they are different platforms with different purpose. When I do a video for Facebook, I want it to be probably an ad because I want it to sell. When I do a video for Instagram,
Try to talk a little bit slower.
okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
When you do a video for Instagram, you want it to be about the brand. It's about the engagement. So it's going to be a more emotional video. In the Facebook video, it's going to focus a bit more about the product. That's why when we talk about being helpful, we talk about ads that it's about Facebook, showing how helpful you can be. Instagram is about branding. And I say 6 seconds because it's the ideal time in terms of SEO ranking for Facebook and Instagram. And campaigns are highly viral and highly engaged. If you create a bigger video and then cut it, it's the best way to do it.
Are you going to go through the content of what content you would create for a video for Alfred?
What for a video for Alfred? Yeah. Okay. So other important things about video, when you're doing a video for social media, always add subtitles, because the majority of the times we are watching a video, we are at work or watching in public transportation, so we really don't want to people listening what we are listening, so we just want to read it. And also, if you are filming with your iPhone, and another thing that you should know is that quality is not that important when you're doing a video. It's better to have a video with bad quality than don't have a video at all. People really don't care about the quality of the video, honestly, unless it's you're a high fashion brand or something. If you're just doing a video because of the humor and to show off the brand, it doesn't have any problem. Always film it like this if you're filming with your phone, because then it will occupy more space on Facebook. So you're having more space with the same amount of money. So it's a good thing. Film always like this, never like this. When we're creating a video, we have to tell the story about it. For example, here, does anyone want to make up a story for Alfred about, no? It will be like 3 videos here, for example, small videos. First, Alfred is talking with, Alfred is a girl here, by the way. We are genderless, so you can choose our gender. Here, Alfred is talking with a guy. Let's call him John. John is highly afraid of going to talk with a girl, so we are incentivate him as Alfred, and he goes to the girl. The girl doesn't like his approach. He makes a bad joke. Alfred is checking what the girl likes on social media, and then in the end, Alfred wins the game. The guy is able to make the joke. The girl is highly surprised how he be so perfect, and very amazed because he invited her to go to an Italian restaurant. It's her favorite type of food in the first date. And any question more about videos? Rebecca? No, are you sure? Yeah. So about videos, do videos. Create a 1 minute video with a story. It has to have a story. It has to have a story with your That has to be shareable. It has to bring emotion, and then cut it in 10 videos to have 6 seconds videos, or 5 or 7. Yes.
Would you supplement that with a lot of content though? Like would you have a big title with some written content and then the video?
YouTube. It's a very good example.
Which one?
The toes one with the Gwyneth Paltrow.
Is it? Which one you're talking about?
Go to the YouTube if you want to do it.
Yeah, sure.
TRUS. Gwyneth Paltrow.
But is it a small one? Is it
6 seconds
is it
for
for-
Instagram? Yeah.
It's what's the brand?
You.
Yeah, Tooth. Yeah.
No, darling. TRUS. S. Yeah. And Gwyneth Paltrow.
How do you spell that?
GWY.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah, but you will get the.
Yeah, you see here they have the big one. You have always the big video on YouTube. And then what happens when you go to social media? You don't see the entire video. It's cut. You just see parts of it. I didn't remember to bring any example. But is everyone understanding what I mean? Just do a compilation of videos instead of making a big video. Make like little episodes. Something that will let people engage. Okay, what's happening next? Do you know what I mean?
Now
Sure,
each
but-
6 second. Oh, sorry. Each 6 second one has a beginning and an end.
Excuse me?
Each 6 second one has a beginning and an end, or like.
That depends on the strategy. That depends on the content that you're doing. Maybe just Alfred in several different situations, and then you have 6 seconds difference with different that don't need to be connected. Maybe they need to be connected. See?
Okay.
Just create a
Oh,
story.
Can I get back to the content part?
Yeah.
So, but it's a Facebook ad, right? So you've got the video and you've got the content in the title.
Yeah.
What goes there? Do you go check out Alfred? He's doing this, or how do you engage with the user? How is the video part of that overall ad?
The ad is a video.
Right. But
Yeah.
there's also content, right? There's
The
also
a video is a content. It's a type
so
of
you
content.
So you don't have any text, just a 6-second video.
Yes,
And
we've-
the name of the brand.
Yeah, that depends on your strategy. Yes, you always have to have.
a story with
Exactly, the story with emotion.
engaging.
That's the main point. You have the format of the content, that is video, and then you have a story that you tell in the video. That's your content. Here, for example, it's the story of this guy meeting a girl with the help of Alfred.
I think she's saying, what are you going to put in a caption? You're just not just going to post a video on Facebook with nothing.
No description.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, the caption would generally have the name of the app and like.
Exactly.
off
That
link.
depends. That depends also on your
That's
goal.
what she was asking. I'm just trying
That
to think.
depends on the goal. On Facebook, it will be like a more salesy caption. On Instagram, it's going to be, in this case, it will have humor because our tone of voice is highly humorous. That depends a lot on the brand and your tone of voice. There is not a magic formula for that.
You can check Prada did a very good one, this 6
Yeah.
seconds one for Instagram.
Gucci
Goes
too.
with
Yeah.
pattern, and it's very funny and very engaging.
Where's
Yeah,
the
Prada.
6 seconds one? Is that recognised universally across all advertising, or is that?
It's for Facebook. Facebook and Facebook group.
But
Yeah.
is there any disagreement over that, or is everyone 6 seconds? and
6
that's-
you can put a little bit more than 6 seconds, and 5 seconds not going to damage you that much. But 6 seconds is the ideal time for videos nowadays. Because you have to think about thumb stopping content. People just spend like 3 seconds watching when they do on your feed. And Instagram or Facebook, think about money. They want to make money, so they don't want you to be 1 minute spending 1 minute on a video when you just be spending 6 seconds.
Could I just ask as well, does it have to be video, or could you use multiple stills? Is that different? Is that
You like GIFs.
yeah, or like a series of still images? Does that count as kind of
No, that doesn't count on
No,
video.
it
No.
can't have to be video.
Yeah, video is very important nowadays. Automatized videos, like small videos. Then we have to intersect with the culture, and that's how we do humor too. For example, and when we talk about intersecting with the culture, we have to understand what culture is important for our target, for our consumer. It doesn't make sense to be talking about Ed Sheeran if my consumer doesn't consume Ed Sheeran. And we have to play with it, make jokes about it. For example, Ed Sheeran was neatly talking with Alfred when he wrote The Shapes of You. Like, Justin Bieber is neatly using Alfred too to conquer again Selena Gomez. Kwon Jun-hoon and Trump should be using Alfred to connect better. Like Jon Snow should start using Alfred. We have some jokes here too. This is, for example, an Instagram. How would we use culture? Imagine that our consumer is highly into art. It will be, you cannot read it from there. Jen never made the move. We hinted Van about her obsession with the stars. Her decision was obvious. That's a joke. That's a caption that it's not understandable to everyone. That if you don't understand a little bit about art, and if you don't know that Van Gogh painted the Starry Night, maybe you don't get it. But we know that our consumer is highly into art, so he's going to get it. Brands nowadays have to come within the culture. Millennials are highly into small brands and brands that are alternative. That's why Supreme is successful. That's why Patagonia is successful, because they really come from a very strong culture, and then they went to the mainstream. But you have to born within a specific culture. Also about topicality, be there always when there is a topicality and when there is a matter that we need to talk about. Breaking news, we are officially part of the royal dinners. We always cover your back, Max, because she's getting engaged. So we made this announcement that we are going to be there when she's going to have the awkward royal dinner, when she has to talk with the queen. And then finally we have to be helpful, and that's what we need to have downloads, and that's how we interact with Facebook, because Facebook, again, it's all about transactions, it's all about the ROI to the sales, and so we have to show our functionality. How can we do it? Do Facebook Lives with experts, have reactive listening with influencers or users. If you do it with influencers, more for brand equity or for brand awareness. Influencers, micro-influencers can work a little bit like users. And users to have user-generated content. For example, here we have the testimony of this girl that was able to meet the XX band because she was with the help of Alfred, and she's talking how that happened. This is also, okay, I'll go to that later. Then the conversion drivers, ads are very important for this, and Facebook has an amazing backend explaining everything. They have a lot of types like single video, carousel. Some of you know this better than I do. And again, our content has to be always thumb stopping. There is the 3 seconds rule, which means that the consumer is scrolling, that someone is scrolling Facebook, and he only spends like 3 seconds maximum looking at the picture. So you have to create thumb stopping content for your audience, and that obviously varies of the type of the person that you're talking with. So you have really to know your audience. For example, for me this is thumb stopping because I look at it, and Diesel is badly written, and Diesel has amazing social media campaigns. So I want to know more about it. Actually, they are doing a campaign celebrating the fakes, and this is highly engaging for me. And that, if it was, yeah, and that will make me to go to the website. That's their goal. This is like an ad for an app. These mental games are highly engaging too. People like to know. People like to know if they're able to do it or not. So probably they'll have a lot of app downloads too. And finally, we need to prove our concept. We need to prove that our product is really good. And for that, we take advantage of the data, always use the data, and use the user-generated content. For example, we can say we have the data, 300 days, we were able to match 300 couples. 50 people got the job of their dreams due to Alfred, and we celebrate this. We make it shareable. We share it with people. We prove our impact. And then we have people proving that what happened in their lives because of us. Like they met their soulmate, they made friends. That can be social influencers, it can be people in general. Now, finally, when you don't have any budget, this is the most important. Be very platform specific. If you don't have budget, don't invest in 3 different platforms. Just focus on one or always 2. Branding in one, that can be Pinterest, Instagram, or Twitter, depending on your audience. And always Facebook for transactional sales and actually to get some cash flow in the beginning. Never neglect videos, highly important nowadays, and small videos that are cut. Be authentic. You have to be authentic, and you have to be native to the platform. You really have to understand the platform that you are working with and how you connect with the consumer in each one of them. And have a profound idea. That's why we need a bigger purpose. We have to have something that we are able to sell to everyone, and that everyone is going to believe on that. and tell a story where we are relevant. Tell a story like Blender story, where your product is there and your product is making a difference, and that creates an emotion. It has all the triggers to put you in people's mind. And then niche, niche, niche. If you don't have money, choose your niche. For example, here, Alfred could be used for networking, could be used for relationships, could be used to make friends. If you don't have a lot of money, just focus on one market and go into that market and just into that market. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. That's it. And don't forget to be a pitch. I need a question? No?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
For small business,
Yeah.
how do you go about getting, like, do you have to make that content yourself, the video content?
Yes, but that's what I was saying. If you don't have money to hire an agency to make a video for you, just make people like authenticity. So just know your tone of voice and just film a video with your iPhone. And if you don't have a lot of budget, it's like viral stars from Instagram and Vines grow. Like just make small videos, make compilations of videos, and share them with friends that are as small as you are, and make them share the video, and you'll grow like that. But always have a video. Quality is not that important, as I was saying. It's about the message and about the story. So film with your phone and film like this to have more space on their Facebook feed, and it works. And don't forget to put subtitles. Yes.
A question about again the length of the video.
Yeah.
So I know you said six seconds is like
the optimal. Yeah.
This looking at, I don't know if it has some relationship to the type of brand.
Yeah.
Just looking at the kind of ads that I watch on Facebook, and mostly the people that I follow, their videos tend to be maybe between a minute and 3, sometimes even 5. So I wonder if it's
is that ads or is that boosting, posting boosting?
Don't know what the distinction is. Like I know the videos through which I found them were about that length, not 6 seconds.
That's probably boosting posts. It's not.
What's the difference?
When you're boosting a post, you are enhancing. You want to share your content. You don't have the goal to sell the product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't want to be that engaging. They don't want to have an action right away. They're just doing that for brand equity, for growing the brand.
Yeah, I guess.
But do you watch the videos until the end when they are 1 minute?
Yeah, if I'm following them, yeah. Like if I'm.
So it's people that you follow.
No, but I've started following them after I saw one video I thought was interesting. I watched all the way to the end, and then I subscribed to their. And so I feel like they follow more the rule of content.
What kind of video is it?
It's content.
But what kind of content? Is it like
business related or?
So it's like talking about the subject. It's not like an ad. It's not like
a campaign. Not an ad.
Okay, it's not like a campaign. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but it is like what I see. It's not an ad exactly. It's more. So like I've seen that there's a strategy that seems to be very predominant now to provide a lot of content before you ask for a sale, like before you offer your product. And that's a different, like that's a magnetic marketing.
Yeah, you're trying to increase your inbound marketing and trying to be relevant. Yeah.
Yes. So in that case, you wouldn't be using 6 seconds or.
It all depends. It all depends on the type of content. If you want to engage the consumer, if you want him to go to your website, you cannot show him before one video of 1 minute. It will be not as efficient. I mean, you can, but it's just not going to be as efficient, as engaging as a small video.
All right.
It depends if it's an informative video and what's the goal of your video. Facebook gives better rates to videos, to small videos. They are going to appear before in your feed. They are better for ads. That's just. If you want to use big videos, you can use longer videos. It's just what's better. And what creates more virality? What creates more virality is to have campaigns, cut the videos, and have several videos. Think about yourself. What you prefer, to have a long video of 5 minutes that you'll probably never going to watch the brand again, or have like 10 seconds videos or 6 seconds videos that you're, okay, what's the next? What's going to happen next about this brand? What's going to be the next part? Oh, you create the teasing emotion, and then you want to know what's going to happen next. Think about Miu Miu. Miu Miu does that very well, the small videos, on their Facebook and Instagram too. They are doing a campaign now with Dakota Johnson. It's going very well. Not Johnson, Fanning, Dakota Fanning. Any other questions?
I have a question regarding the filming the video. You said we should film this way?
Yeah.
Why do you feel this way? If you upload it onto YouTube, it will...
But I'm talking for Facebook ads. Because on the Facebook feed, your video is going to appear bigger this way than this way. It's going to occupy more space. Speaking about traditional advertising, you have to pay more for the space you use. Facebook doesn't do that now. So if you film like this, you'll have more space on people's feeds, so it's better for you. Yeah. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, the others have like the normal. You cannot, they have a standard size, so it doesn't make sense. Think about that for others. Anything else? No? So that's it, Kashi.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.